Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Greg Talks. I'm so excited to have you join me. Good evening, Melanie Jenkins. Thank you for sharing. I'm inviting everybody to tag and share and tag and share and start a watch party, wherever the case may be, because we have an awesome, awesome show lined up for you tonight. I'm just grateful for what God is doing to reach out and bless people and let people see the power of God and what trusting in God would do for your life. This is Greg Talks, a place to get a fair view. My. Yes, this is Greg Talks, and we welcome you once again to this exciting show. I want you, everybody, I want you to tag somebody, share with somebody, because somebody needs to understand what success is all about. Good evening, Melanie Jenkins, Ramel Chambray. Good evening, Pastor Rose. Hey, Pete Griggs, what's up, my friend? What's up, man? Go ahead and tag somebody and share with somebody, because tonight we got a special topic talking about don't buy into what they say. Don't buy into what they say. So many times, people's dreams and vision have been snuffed out, have been killed, have been eradicated because of the fact that somebody else told them that they would not make it, and they bought into it, and they failed to try to make it because it was stuck in their mind and stuck in their system that, you know what? No matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to make it. But I came to tell somebody that the devil is a liar, and do not buy into his lies anymore. You have the opportunity. You have the opportunity to have the best of life. Yes. And let me tell you something. After this show tonight, I believe that somebody is going to make up your mind to let the rest of your life be the best of your life. Good evening, Essie Mullen, Betty Crooks, Eleanor Kirkman, Yvette Chambray, Lady Chambray. Good evening to my sister Carla Joanne Fry. Hey, good to have y'all. Listen again. Go ahead and tag and share. Go ahead and tag and share. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time, because I want to get this guest on. Man, she's an awesome person, born and raised right here in Birmingham, a graduate of Minor High School. Yes, she's a graduate of Minor High School, and God has blessed her to go on and do some great things in life. You've seen her. Some of you may have seen her and didn't even know who you were looking at, because I did. Yes, she's been on shows like NCIS, New Amsterdam, Daytime Divas, Meet the Browns. Yes, she has been there. Yes, she has. She has been there. Hello, LaVon Ward, all the way from, my God, from Ohio. Yes, God bless you, bless you, bless you. We're so great to have you in. Hey, if you don't mind, go ahead and type in where you're watching from, where you are, where you are. Go ahead and prepare your questions, because let me tell you something. I'm telling you, this guest that we have, she's like Radio Shack. You got questions, she has answers. So, hey, yes, the answers will be there for you tonight. So I want to introduce to you, as we say in church, I want to introduce to some and present to others. Yes, that's what we say. None other than actress, director, child of God, motivational friend. Give it up, my brothers and my sisters, for Miss Shaquita Smith. Come on, give it up as she comes. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. If I can get my audience going to sleep on, I don't know where they at.
No worries.
Yeah. Yes, give her the applause that she deserves to have. Give her the applause. God. Thank you. Shaquita, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We had an opportunity a couple of weeks ago to have you speak to the students at our school, and I'm telling you, it was powerful. It was motivational. And I believe that the lives are going to change even tonight by hearing your story and hearing what God has done in your life. So we're going to get right on down to it. I see we got people, DeRon Roberts Sr. in New Jersey. All right. Ackworth, Georgia in the house. My God. Alabama. Folk everywhere, man. East Lake. Yeah, so we're all over the place. We're all over the place. Yes, Ohio. Yes, all over the place. Again, I'm asking you to, if you would, go ahead and tag and share with somebody. Let them know that Greg Talk is live. We are here live and in color, and we are in for a treat tonight. So, how you doing today, Shaquita?
I am blessed and highly favored, Greg. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I didn't want to be anywhere else but right here.
Oh, well, praise the Lord. Praise God. Well, we are definitely honored to have you here to share with our guests tonight and tell things. Pennsylvania, yes, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the house. I'm telling you, we're all over the globe tonight. We're all over the place. So we definitely excited about that. So you have embarked upon an exciting career. God has done some great things in your life. And we just want to be able to share some of those things tonight with our guests. Tell us about a little bit about your upbringing. I know you had a Christian upbringing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so I'm from, like I said, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I went to school in Minor High School. I was raised by a faithful, amazing, loving, outstanding grandmother who passed a couple of years ago. And to be perfectly honest, my upbringing came based off, you know, how I was raised and
somebody let them know that Greg Talk is what is that? Live. What did I just do? Hold on a second. I feel my hands going too fast for my own good. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go on.
You're fine. So um, you know, I was raised by my grandmother who adopted me, but before then, I was, with my mother who basically, so it was a hard childhood, dealing with drugs and different things of that nature, trials and tribulations. But the root of who I became now is based off the faith of how my grandmother raised me and the love that she gave me and how she basically told me, hey, we're going to church on Sunday, Wednesday, Tuesday. And it was one of those things where I was going because of her, but then I found myself realizing that I needed to go for myself. I was urging for it. And I knew that the reason I was in the position that I was in because of the faith and me believing and me aligning. And ever since then, my faith been rooted, and I've been on this journey ever since.
Wow. And it's a difference in going for someone else and going for yourself. It's a big difference in doing that. When you find out that you desire to have that you need to have your own relationship with God, you realize that grandma relationship is grandma relationship, and your relationship is your relationship.
I totally agree with that. And the interesting thing about it, my faith became stronger and stronger each year, each moment. And when I saw, the impossible become possible, things that I couldn't even explain, I said, oh, that's a God. There is a God. I know he is here. Can't nobody tell me anything. And it's just been a beautiful experience,
Wow.
career and just in life in general.
Wow. Now, I talked about the fact in introducing you of some of the shows that you premiered in, like NCIS and New Amsterdam. Uh, I told you earlier I never watched that show, but I think I'm gonna have to watch it now. Um, Meet the Browns. You've done all of those things, and there's so much out there. Demo reels and whatnot on YouTube and all these areas that people can check you out and see some of the things that you've done as well. So I'm actually my guest, hey, go out there and Google her name. Your mind will be blown at some of the things that you see that God has allowed her to accomplish. Yes, from being right here in Birmingham, Alabama, a graduate of Minor High School. So you graduated Minor High School and you went on to pursue a degree, correct?
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
And what did you pursue that degree in?
Theater, acting. And then after that, my father said, hey, you want to pursue acting, I'm gonna need for you to go get another degree. And I said, I don't want to do another degree. And he said, you're going to have to do another one. And so I ended up graduating with a business degree as well. And that's kind of how I got into directing and producing and wanting to create my own, because I learned the business aspect as well as the creative aspect. So it's the best of both worlds that I love and that I cultivated over, the course of years.
Wow. So what I'm hearing in that is that even if you're not on the screen, you still have something that you can do off the screen.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's important. I believe that's important. And I believe that's the thing. That's one of the things a lot of us people need to learn, because sometimes we just focus on the one thing, and when that one thing goes wrong, we have nothing else that we can do. But that's an important aspect, and a really good point there that you shared with us. That don't
Right.
just settle on acting, but be able to do something off the screen as well.
Right, because I love that all aspects of entertainment, not just acting. I love it, but I also want to bless other people along the way. And that's kind of where my spirituality and my faith also, I want to give back. The way God blessed me, I want to bless others with my same talent as well. If I'm seeing, a young woman or a young brother that need help or want to get an opportunity, I want to do that as well. And so me creating and producing is me fulfilling what I love, but also help other people as well.
Absolutely awesome. So with that being said, I want my audience, listen, if you guys have questions, again, I told you she got answers. If you have questions, go ahead and ask the question, type your question on the screen, and she will answer those questions for you.
Yes.
So, so if there's a person out there listening and they are aspiring to get into acting, what's the first piece of advice that you would give them?
The first piece of advice is to know yourself, love yourself, because this is an interesting business, and also be rooted in Christ. Be rooted in your faith. Be rooted in who you are. Because when you go out into this business, they will tear you apart. They will say all types of things. But if you don't know who you are, you'll never be where you want to be, if that makes sense. And so that's my tip for anybody that wants to be an aspiring actor, because you can love it all day, but if someone sit here and poke at you and tell you you're not good enough, you need to go back here, you need to go back there, you still have to have that strong faith and a strong sense of self to know that you are amazing, that you can do anything that you want to do, no
Yeah,
matter what.
yes, yes, and that is the thing that brought me to the topic tonight that we're dealing with, and that is don't buy into what they say. You know,
Mm,
uh, one of the things I always wanted, I like to do is base my topic around the guest that's on the show, and just thinking about that and consulting and just, Lord, what are we going to do? And that was the topic that came to me when it comes to concerning you and where you've come from and to where you are now.
right.
And so I think that was important. And you said that I couldn't have said it any better. That know yourself. Now let's talk about that for a moment. And knowing yourself. When you talk to our audience about when you know yourself, the things that you do and the things you don't do.
So knowing yourself is meaning for me is knowing how worthy I am, knowing that I'm able to do things through Christ who strengthens me, knowing that if I step on a stage or on a screen, that I have all capabilities in doing that, knowing that when I speak to anybody, I am capable, I am worthy, I am loved, and I am able to be in front of you and talk to you in that manner.
Mhm.
Knowing that you are not no better than I, knowing that God created me, so that means that I am among greatness. That I'm walking in as a masterpiece. And so me knowing that I'm a child of God, knowing that whatever I touch, that I can do and be. That's knowing. There is no insecurities. There is not not confidence. And also knowing, like you said, knowing what you're willing to do and what you will not do as well. Meaning, I will not sell myself short. There was an opportunity where someone asked me to do a show, a project, and I was just kind of like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to do it." And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do it. It's not my brand. I don't want to put myself out there. And you have to stand firm on things that are your morals, things that you're steadfast on, and things that you don't want to compromise. And those are the things that really, 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 really define who you are. Are you going to sit here and be a leader, or are you going to sit here and stand back and follow? And once you identify that, then you're amazing. You're about to go with the wind.
Absolutely. So that's that's the importance of knowing yourself, man, and it's important. I got my brother down in Gallion, Alabama. I don't know whether you know where that is, where we grew
Oh,
up.
where's that?
Huh?
Where is that?
It's south of Tuscaloosa. You heard of Demopolis, Alabama?
I've heard of Demopolis, yes.
Yeah, well, just outside of Demopolis. We was kind of like John P. Key said he grew up in Durham, North Carolina, just outside the county line. Yeah, that was us. Yeah. But I see he asked the question. He said, could you speak to the youth class at my church in the future?" People are looking.
Of course.
People are looking for inspiration. And I believe, without a doubt, many of our young people now need inspiration, and they need to understand that things don't just come, things don't just happen. Nobody is going to hand it to you. Faith without works is what? Dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I asked you the question earlier about the schooling and whatnot, because you got to put in the work.
You do. You do. I'm a firm believer in order for me to be the best, I have to prepare as the best. I have to know that I'm able to compete with the Viola Davises and the Denzel Washingtons. And, I want to be at my ultimate best. And in order for me to do that, I have to make sure that I continually to learn and continually to carve out. Like, I'm always learning. I'm always trying to figure out, Shaquita, what is the best way you can do this? Or how can you manage this? Or what are the things that, can make you better? I don't look at anybody else. I look at myself. And that goes back to me saying, knowing yourself, knowing that, okay, I'm still a work in progress. You may think that I'm amazing. You may think that I am amazing, but at the end of the day, I want to be outstanding. I want to be like, 1,000. I want to be somewhere where I know that, like I said, I just can't touch it right now, but I know I can. And that's kind of where, like, I want to be. It's like, what, I've been on these shows, but I want to be on that show. And when I get to that show, I want to be like, oh, I want to be on that other show. And so I'm always challenging myself to be like amazing. And I don't even know if I'm going to ever be satisfied with that, because I'm just always pushing myself to greatness.
Yes, great, awesome. And you can be content without being satisfied, because I believe that whenever we become satisfied with something, we will stop striving to do better. We will lose our momentum. You said something there, and I see a couple of things on the screen I want to get to as well. But you said something that made my mind go back to my high school years. We had a teacher, and she was my favorite teacher, my math teacher. But she was telling some students one day about how outstanding they were, and I wanted to bring that out because one of the students said to the teacher, she said, well, I'm outstanding too. And the teacher response was, "You're going to be outstanding in the cold if you don't sit down in this classroom." and I wanted to relate that to what you're talking about, because if you don't put in the work into getting into this field, then you will find yourself outstanding in the cold.
You would. You would.
Okay. So I got one person here who said this, that some people tend to think that you're conceited when you have self-love. Do you think there's is truth in that with some people?
It can be, but I can also say that if you don't root for yourself, who will?
Exactly.
If you don't pat yourself on the back, who will? If there was nobody in this room, if you didn't tell me, Pastor Greg, that, hey, Shaquita, you're amazing, you're loving, you this, then who else will? And the only person that I know is the man up above.
Yes.
And I have to constantly, it used to be a time where, even for me, and I'll give you an example, where I had to continue to remind myself how amazing I am, because the world didn't tell me that.
Right.
The world beat me down to be, an African American Black woman. I would go into rooms and they would tell me, oh, let's go with, the other race, or this or that. And I had to tell myself, no, you're worthy, you're amazing, you're this and you're that. And so I had to pump myself up for self-love and say, oh, you know what, Shaquita, you a bad mama jam. You know, you to do this. And I do. I have my moments where I have 5 minutes to amp myself up, and I walk in, and I'm like so confident. But if you're not confident, it doesn't speak. You
Bam.
got you gotta walk in confident. You gotta walk in. If they say, "Hey, we want to give you $10 million," they need to be confident to know that you can handle it.
Yes, absolutely.
Self-love is needed. That confidence is needed so that when you walk in and walk out, you're not insecure. You
Yes,
know, and that comes with, just praying. And the thing is that if God tells me I'm amazing, then I'm gonna tell myself I'm amazing. And that's the truth. You
why
know,
not? Hey, I understand. I understand, and I agree wholeheartedly because I've had people tell me that you're conceited, you're arrogant. I said, no, you don't understand. Never confuse self-confidence with arrogance and conceitedness, because conceited people and arrogant people look down on other people. I don't look down on other people, but I'm not gonna not have confidence in me because you think I'm arrogant.
No, I walk in knowing that God got something in my soul. I got something buried inside me that I need to share. I have something inside of me that's abilities that y'all don't even know about. And I just want to burst it out. I need you to know that I'm special, that He created me in that space. And so with that, with me knowing that, I walk out knowing how amazing that I am. And I think as young people, because as kids, as children, they can be a little bit cruel, and and it could be teasing, and then they can look at social media, and they can look at all of these things, and so you start looking at yourself being like, why me? Why
Mhm.
can't I do this? Or why did this person not have it? But when you know who you are,
Yes,
you know who you are,
it
nothing else matters.
it makes a world of difference. Now, Mr. Vaughn Ward, I believe she's in Ohio. She actually,
Mhm.
do you speak to youth groups? Everybody want to know who you. And what I'm hearing from the audience here is that do you go around motivating other people?
I do. I do. I actually did a women empowerment with Cynthia Bailey from what's the Atlanta Housewives. I've done a lot of motivational speaking, just in general, Boys and Girls Club. I've done entertainment youth who wants to get into filmmaking and acting. To especially kids that are less fortunate, who basically need, that inspiration to say, hey, no matter where you come from, no matter what your circumstances is, because at the end of the day, my circumstances wasn't as good either. But
Yeah.
guess what? I looked at the hills and I said, you know what? I'm going to continually to look at the hill and know that I can, and I can be whatever I want to be, no matter where I've been through, no matter the circumstances, no matter, if somebody told me no, I have a God that said yes.
What you?
I have a God that said that I can do all things. I have a God that said that no matter what that said, you got to look at me. You got to understand that I created you. So you walk with me, hold my hand. And so that's kind of exactly where I am when it comes to my career, or just in general. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be entertainment. It could be anything. But when you know and you're rooted in that faith, you can go anywhere.
Yes. I don't know how to do this, but when you said right there, when you said that right there, I had to take a music break. What? Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Take a music break. When the world said no, God said
Hey,
yes. When the world said no,
amen.
God said yes. I just want to take a quick music break on that. You brought that out right there, because so many times the world will tell you no, and God will say yes. But the problem is, too many people buy into what the world say. They buy into the no and never wait to hear God's yes. By the way, that's my daughter and her husband song there. When the girl say no, God says yes.
I
So
love it. Yes, I
that,
love
that is absolutely awesome. Wow. Let's see. Okay, Miss Carla Joanne Fry. She says, I speak to others about sexual abuse. who can I speak with that? Who can I speak with that has a large platform that I can reach out to, please? Yeah, she basically, in fact, Carla was one of my guests a few weeks ago on the show with the release of her book, Silence Behind the Silence. And so she's been sharing her story, and she's ready to take it. I believe that God is ready for her to take it to a higher platform as well. So maybe I can connect you two guys together. She's in Pittsburgh, and you're in Atlanta, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can connect you two guys together, let y'all talk, and y'all can figure that all out.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. We can do that. Especially, I would love to know her story.
Oh wow, she has a story, man, an outstanding story. I got her book as well, but she has an outstanding story. So now we were talking about this before the show started because I just want to sit down and get a little background and and things like that. Carla says she will travel, so she would come to Atlanta. What do you say? And we talked about this. What do you say to that person? That person or those people, especially women as well, who would say that, okay, if I'm going to be successful, I have to leave Birmingham because there's nothing here. What do you say to that person?
Well, currently, right now, you can be successful anywhere. Like I told you earlier, 10, 20 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. we was living in a different time, in a different world. But right now, where the world has shifted, meaning technology, meaning, what's happening in the news, politically, socially, where we are currently, you can be successful in the comfort of your own home. You can be successful in the comfort of, Texas, Alabama, places where people haven't really seen a lot of quote unquote success. Because at the end of the day, like I told you earlier, you got cameras, you have lights. I auditioned for projects in London, Mumbai, Dubai, New York, LA, and I'm currently in Atlanta. So you can do whatever you want to do. I always say that roles don't choose me. I mean, I said that I don't choose the roles; they choose me.
My.
So depending on if it's in London, whatever's supposed to be will be. And currently, right now, it's so amazing for especially African American women and men at this time. We are winning. You hear me? We are winning. Okay. And so if you are, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about education. When you continually to educate yourself, and when opportunities present itself, you do not have to get ready. You will always stay ready. And when this opportunity comes, you don't have to not be ready because you're already ready. You're already prepared. You're already there. So for me, that's kind of where I am. It's like, whoa, these opportunities came. Okay, I'm ready. I've been working out. I've been doing this. I've been, I know French. I know Latin. I know it's all of those things. I've learned archaeology, history. I know this, I know that. But if you don't know those things and that opportunity that you say that you want, how are you going to get that? How are you going to even get that opportunity if you're not even ready? So guess what? That same opportunity that you've been praying for and you wanting for is going to go to the person that has worked for it, has prepared for it, that's not slipping, not by no means necessary. And so when it comes to our opportunities, it's here. You don't have to go anywhere else to actually be successful. And also, too, you can create the success. You can create what you want wherever you are. If there's not, opportunities when it comes to acting, you create those work. And guess what? People of that same interest will come to you because now they're like, oh, we have that. But you don't have to wait for something to happen. You can create that, and now everybody else will jump on board. So I'm a big firm believer on, yes, I can sit here and wait, but why should I wait? Let me just keep waiting and not waiting, create while I'm getting opportunities, and I'll continually.
Uh-oh. We lost Shaquita, but I think she'll be back. In the meantime, while she's buffering, I don't know whether you still see her or not, but on my end, Shaquita is buffering. So let me see. Do I still see her? But in the meantime, I heard her say something about waiting. Yes, about waiting. Let's see. Do I still hear her here? Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Well, no, she's still buffering. But in the meantime, guys, I want to say this because she's talking about creating while you're waiting. It takes us to the scripture in Isaiah 40:31, where it says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." So what that's when I look at that terminology of waiting, what that simply means to me is. When you go to a restaurant, you have someone who wait your table. That doesn't mean that they're sitting down doing nothing, but they are busy creating something. I think I hear some people in the background, but her camera is out now. But we lost her. But I think she'll be able to sign back on shortly. So I'll keep things rolling while until she gets back on. And there she is. Yes, there she is. Okay, are you there? Are you? Oh yeah, I hear you now. Okay, okay. But anyway, I was keeping the audience going while you was having the technical difficulty. But I what I said to them is what you were actually saying is to create while you wait. It takes us to Isaiah 40:31, where it said, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength." That waiting does not entail sitting down doing nothing and waiting on God to move, but that waiting is like a waiter or waitress at a restaurant. They are busy doing something all the time. So we have to be busy doing something because nothing, in the words of the late Billy Preston, nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
Mm.
So we have to be doing something at all times. Wow, wow. So yes. So that's I appreciate that so much because again, a lot of our people need to hear that. Now there's another question that my 14-year-old son is interested in acting. Do we need to begin with headshots and a reel? And do you mentor at all?
Yes, I do. I do mentor. One of the things that I would say when it comes to acting is to, like I said earlier, is to get into some class. Kind of get into the basics before you go into getting headshots and real, because you want to make sure that they know the basis before you get into the business aspects of getting, pushing, your son or your daughter out there. That would be my suggestion to you or just anyone in general. The first basis is to really, really, really get into some workshops, get into some classes, kind of know what these people are looking for, and then on top of that, then you can kind of gauge what type of actor your son is. He may be, a comedian actor, kind of get into comedy or drama or sci-fi. You just never know. So it kind of is, getting the understanding of exactly where, they are, so that you know exactly what course to take when it comes to their career. So
Wow, sign me up for the comedy class.
okay.
um, that was another question I want to go back to. Is that do you find that people try to be in your circle because of your fame, and how do you weed out the people who are genuinely concerned about you?
The great thing about that is that I always pray daily for discernment.
Mm,
And I pray to allow my mind to know when someone is supposed to be for me or around me. And to be perfectly honest, I God speaks no matter what, and He basically allows me to know, okay, no, that's not the person. No, that's the person, or they're supposed to be in your life. No, they're not supposed to be in your life. And so I kind of I kind of really trust that energy when someone comes into the room when it comes to being around me. Think Greg.
Yeah, I'm back. This technical difficulty getting crazy.
Oh,
We're here. I heard it. I heard everything you said. I heard everything you said. Wow. So I don't know where that. Hey, I don't know where that note right there came from, but maybe somebody need to see that note. I don't know.
okay, great. Yes.
Maybe somebody need to read that. I don't know where that came from. Anyway. Um. So that's great. That's great. You know, so many times, Shaquita, I believe that people have just again as we talk about hope things happen rather than putting in the time, even dealing with the discernment of who they're going to allow into their life. I believe that many times people end up with people in their lives that don't supposed to be there because they lack that discernment, or they lack praying for that discernment, or lack praying for that divine protection to keep people out of their circle that don't mean them any good. You know,
And I believe that every time that you have conversations with someone, like I'm having a conversation with you, what's the first thing that pops up in my head?
mm-hmm,
Oh, he's a good guy. That's the
mm-hmm,
first thing that comes in my head. Now, if I have something to say, and then I'm gonna keep talking. Like, no, Greg is fine. I'm gonna just keep talking to him. Da 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 da. And now something happens. You have to trust whatever that mind
yes,
say in that moment, because whatever that mind say in that moment, that is the truth. That's God speaking to you and saying, "Hey, I'm
I
just giving you." It's basically like He giving you directions. Hey, go left, go
yes,
left. All
yes,
right, this is the only time you're gonna do this. Don't go. But sometimes what happens is that we forget that voice and we say, "Oh no, that wasn't nothing." And
yeah,
then we go into these situations, and then what happens is we'll say, "I knew I should have did that. I
mm-hmm,
knew I should have did this. I knew I should have did that." But we choose not to. And so what we have to do, we have to really listen when things are supposed to be not for us, you
wow,
know, or even, the good or the bad. And so what I have done these past, couple of years, really truly this last year, I'll be completely honest, really truly 100% listening to that inner voice and saying, okay, no, I'm not supposed to go over there. Thank you, God. I ain't supposed to go over here. Oh, you know what? I'm supposed to go over here. And so now I'm being guided the way that
mm-hmm,
I'm supposed to be guided. I mean, guided. And it's been beautiful ever since, because now the people that's supposed to be in my life are supposed to be in my life. And the people are not, they're not supposed to be in my life.
and I think sometimes and we've been taught to call that a gut feeling, you know. Yeah, but I remember growing up how my ancestors always would say, always follow your first mind, and I'm kind of hearing that in what you were saying, that
Mhm.
the first thought that pops in our head about somebody that enters into our space, is normally correct, but sometimes we try our best to give them the benefit of the doubt. And there's a conversation me and my wife have a lot of times about giving people the benefit of the doubt. I say I'm quick to give them the doubt, because I firmly believe that first voice that you hear is the voice of God, and I believe that our ancestors actually bought into that because of the fact the first voice that Adam heard was the voice of God. The second voice that he heard was the one that messed him up. So I certainly believe that's powerful discernment, and I also look at the fact that many times we say something told me, and when we do that, we're really not giving God his just due or giving God his credit, because
Mhm.
it's God who's speaking to us, and we're just not recognizing who it is.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly. I agree 100,000%.
So tell us about the Miss Buckhead pageant, the Miss Buckhead of Miss Joe.
Oh, yes. I was competing back in the day, back in 2014, Miss Buckhead, and I went later on to compete in Miss Georgia USA. So I had a spell of, you know, competing in pageants and really kind of honing into my communication skills. Pageantry taught me how to communicate better. It taught me to be a little bit more confident. It taught me how to walk with class. It taught me to be able to be truly myself and to talk about what really is important to me. You know, when it comes to my passion, when it comes to my dreams, when it comes to things in the world, you know, child abuse, all of that, molestation, all of that really means something to me. And so when I walk out into the world and I speak, you know, I really speak to people, young kids that have went through the same things that I've been through and say, hey, I know what you've been through, and this is how I got out of it. Or, hey, I've been through this, and you can do something with your life no matter what your circumstances are. And so it just showed me, you know, really how to just carve out and be a better individual.
Wow. So, in other words, it really doesn't matter where you come from. That doesn't have to hinder you from where you can go.
Exactly. Exactly. It's never where you come from. It's
Yeah.
never. You define where you're gonna go.
Yeah.
You define when you become, you know, a child, not a child, but a teenager. You decide, okay, what do I want to do? Then you become a young adult. All of these decisions are based upon you.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, that takes me back to the reason that this show was titled what it is. You don't buy into what they say, because people will look at your background, where you come from. They would look at your family. They would look at the fact that you were adopted and you were this and you were that. So you can never achieve this or that. But if you don't buy into that,
Mhm.
then it will never stop you. You know, I'm gonna share
Right.
this. I'm gonna share this with quickly. Some of my audience may have heard this before, but I'm gonna share this with you as well. There was a story that I heard once about the tiny green frogs, and I'm gonna cut it short because I don't want to take too long. But in this town there was a bunch of frogs, and they decided they were gonna climb this mountain outside of town, and everybody told them that you could never climb it. You could never get to the top of the mountain. And as they was trying to get to the top of the mountain, they all jumping and people at the bottom screaming, "You'll never make it! You'll never make it! You'll never make it!" And it's one by one the frogs started stopping. They couldn't make it, and there was this one frog that kept going. And even the ones who were stopping, it was shouting and telling him he couldn't make it, but he kept going until he got to the top. And when he came all the way back down, they wanted to know, how did he do it? How did he do it? How did he do it? And they was questioning him and never stopped to respond to anybody's question. And then all of a sudden somebody looked at him and said, he's deaf. He can't hear. He could not hear what they were saying. So he did not buy into what they were saying. So if we're going to pursue forward with everything that God has for us in our life, then we got to turn a deaf ear to what people are saying about us.
I agree. I agree. I agree. And when you do that, it's so bliss. It's so beautiful. It's amazing. And I just know that, you know, and I'm speaking to the people that has had the no's and had the, you know, you can't do this, or hey, you haven't had a good childhood, or you didn't have, you know, you don't have $2 in your name, or you don't have, a house, or you don't have all of these things. You have to say to yourself, I'm stronger than what I look like.
Mm,
I'm stronger than that.
wow.
You know? And when I looked at all the things that was, basically, it was basically telling me, ooh, I don't know how you're gonna get out of this. Ooh, you're gonna have to stay there. This is your life. This is your life. The person that you are right now, this is your life. You're not going to be an actress. You're not going to be on no TV show. You're not going to be this. You're not going to be that. But if I kept saying, if I kept listening to that, I would not be the Shaquita I am today. You know, I look up and I'm like, oh man, I'm on TV. You know, oh man, I can't believe it. I can say I can't believe it, but I can't believe it. Because that 20 some years ago, I looked up and knew this is what I want to do. This is what I know what I want to do. This is things that will make me happy. And the reason why is because I knew that I was stronger. I could take whatever adversity came my way. I could take, somebody telling me I can't. I could take just as much because I know that no matter how many times you said that, I'm still strong to know that I can touch it. I could touch where I'm supposed to be going.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, you have to look. Like I told this in a podcast the other day about the sun. And I said, if you keep looking at the sun is attainable. You keep looking at it and it's attainable. And if you keep looking at it, that means that you just got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep pushing, and there was something else that you said too about, when it comes to, you don't know how strong you are until you do it. And I feel like when it comes to you being strong, you got to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing. That's like at the gym. You don't know how strong you are until you keep doing those push-ups, until you keep moving. It hurts, but guess what? Only the strongest survives.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
it's not that many people that does that. So
I like that. I like that because so many times, especially in our younger generation now, we try something one time, and then if it don't work, we say, "Oh, forget it." So we're so quick. I say we in general. Of course, I'm not that young, but anyway, we're so quick to give up on something because it didn't work the first time. I generally I teach an anger management class, and there are so many techniques to managing our anger.
right.
And but so many times I encounter people who say, "Well, I tried that didn't work for me." I say, "You don't you can't try it one time. You have to try it over and over again."
You got to be a lion. You got to come in with everything in your body. You got to come in and attack what you want. If you don't attack it ferociously, if you don't attack what you want, it's like a prey. You got to go in. You got to just start just going in. And if you don't do that, you have never tried. You have never tried. If you didn't go in with everything in your soul and spirit, and you gave 100%, I can sit back and I can say, you know what? I gave 100%. I sacrificed for my career. I spent long hours for my career. I love relationships for my career. I did so much, but it was for a reason. It was for a reason, and if you don't sacrifice just to see how far you go, then have you really tried?
Right. Well, if you haven't given it your all, then you really haven't given it anything. And we just got to go until we can't go no more.
Because as soon as you plant that seed, guess what's going to happen? It's going to have to eventually grow.
Yes.
It's going to have to eventually grow. You plant that seed and you keep on planting that seed. You keep planting tenaciously. You keep planting it. At the end of the day, it's going to have to rise up. And that's kind of how I look at it when it comes to what you want to do. Is that you got to keep hammering that hammer until it's just say, hey, you know what? You to beat me up. Let me go ahead and give you your doctor, your certification to be a doctor. Hey, you know what? You beat me up. Let me go ahead and allow you to be a filmmaker. Hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and because you work so hard. Faith without work is dead.
Yes. Consistency and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Got to have them both. So the question is that do you find that you're always on platform? Does it bother you when people bombard your space, having so much being required of you?
No, I take my time when it comes to platforms. I don't, bog myself down with so many engagements because at the end of the day, I still have to focus on my work and what I need to do. But I do take the time to really give back. And I love this. I love giving back. I love, expressing myself and speaking my truth. I can't be nobody else but myself. And, if that can bless other people, then I don't mind doing that. Have someone cried in my space? No, not really, because I think God have carved me in a way to speak the way that I should be speaking. And if it has been bothered, that means that I got a lot of work to do. but No, 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 not at all. I think God really, really carved me in a way throughout these years and allowed me to be prepared for these situations. So,
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. I want to bounce back real quick to something. Um, and then we're going to wrap up. But I want to bounce back because I want you to speak to, the question came about the 14-year-old son wants to get into acting and all that stuff. And I think we already talked about the fact that get some training, get into school, or whatever the case is. In other words, build a portfolio, have a resume that people can look at and say, okay, you have this and you have that. What do you say to that person who just think it's just going to happen somehow?
in some ways, it does happen. Some ways, but in some other ways, you have to put the work in. You still have to put the work in, and we can continually say faith without work is dead. Sometimes you do have those moments where you at the right time, right place, right thing, but then there's the other cases where you have to really work hard for it, and you really have to put yourself in that space to be aligned with your calling, with your purpose. And sometimes if your purpose is aligned and it just happened, then yes, of course. But at the end of the day, you have a goal. We all have goals. We all have plans, and all have things that God has aligned for us. And in each due date of where we're supposed to go, we have to honor that task. We have to pass that test. And whatever that test is, we have to be willing and be strong enough to take it. And so I always urge people to really, 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 really do everything that you can when it comes to your career, when it comes to what you want to do, and to really, really, really know that nothing comes that quickly if you don't work for it.
So what I'm hearing, I love to use a lot of analogies,
No, okay.
what do you want to call it? So in other words, if I'm trying to get somewhere in my career, my education in that field is a vehicle that will get me there a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't prepare myself for that field, if I'm not getting any education in
Right.
that particular field, then it's pretty much like I'm walking rather than getting in the car and driving. So
You know what I do? I have a vision board. I have a vision board, and I also have a plan. And I say, okay, if this doesn't work, what's A, B, C, D?
mhm.
I always have another way around the corner. Okay, how am I gonna get an audition? Okay, there's casting directors. Okay, there's I can go to this networking, and then I got to do this, and I can do that. I can do that. It's all of these things I got lined up to where my goal is, and if we can plan exactly what we want to do and have A, B, C's, D's, and how we're going to get there, then you're going to continually get closer to where you're trying to go, because guess what? You got a plan. A lot of people walking out don't have plans and trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do? And how I'm going to get where I need to go? Well, do you have a plan? Once you have a plan, you can execute better. You can see exactly.
He who fails to plan plans to fail.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Plans to fail. You say plans to fail.
He who fails to plan plans to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. That's awesome. And as Carla Joanne Friday say, that is definitely great information. So Shaquita, we are so blessed and so fortunate and to have you to share with us tonight. And words can't explain the information that has been shared, I believe, to our audience tonight. And I believe that somebody certainly has been helped and it's going to set somebody on the right path, because you don't just get somewhere. Well, that was one more question I wanted to ask you.
Go ahead.
To me. How early do you get up in the morning?
How early? Woo! I get up at 6 in the morning, sometimes 5, depending, because I work out sometimes.
Okay.
What was the reasoning behind it?
Case closed, jury dismissed.
Oh, okay.
I know. I asked that question. I asked that question because so many times people tend to think that, I talked about it earlier, that people tend to think things are just going to happen. But there was an old expression that when I was growing up, they said that early bird catches the worm. In other words, if things are going to happen, you got to get up. You got to get out of the bed. You got to get up and go after some things, because back in the day when we used to job hunt, when we literally went out to places to go to get a job, to fill out applications, there were no online applications. There was no computers. You actually got up and went to fill out an application. That may have been before your time, but we actually did that. But there was a saying, that was a rule of thumb, that you got up early in the morning and went job hunting. You didn't go late. Because if you went late, somebody else already got the job, and employers were looking for people that showed up early, because their belief was, if this person showed up early, then I don't have to worry about them being late for work. So that's a system in place that I believe that many people fail to see that is there, because it's invisible. But due to the fact that it's invisible, they tend to think that well it's just going to happen, and it's not just going to happen.
Yeah, you gotta wake up in the morning, and what I found is true is that when you wake up in the morning, you don't know what kind of blessings gonna be at the end of the day. You don't know what's gonna happen during the day. If you just wake up, get your day started. Have intentions too. Set intentions for the day. Hey, I'm going to have a great day. Today, I'm going to get, like you just said, the analogy of job searching. I'm going to get a job today. I'm going to plant that seed when you wake up in the morning and set your intentions. Anything is possible. So I am a firm believer in that.
I'm gonna say this, and we're out of here. I told my wife once, it was way back in the day, man, when we were young. We had been married. Well, hadn't been married. Well, probably 4 years roughly. And we were broke, busted, and I was real disgusted.
Oh God, you were disgusted.
Oh, I was all the way there, man. I was all the way there. So, many times people they have no idea where we came from. But I went home on a Friday. I'm looking for a job. I gave my wife the newspaper, and I got in the bed.
Really? Oh Lord.
She read an ad from the paper that made me sit up in the bed. And when I sat up in the bed, and she read an ad to me, I got up and put my clothes on, and I told her I'm going to pay some bills, and I'm going to get this job, and I'll be back home. I went and paid bills. I went and got the job, and I came back home.
Wow. Okay.
That goes back to that confidence that you were talking about, that we got to have, and that goes back into telling ourselves that we're going to do something and do it.
Exactly. No other way.
Wow. All right. Well, we're going to get ready to get out of here. Thank you so much. That's my brother again. He said we're going to get my youth ready. We need help in the Black Belt area.
Okay.
We need help all over the place, man. Oh my goodness. And that's Melanie Jenkins. She said, thank you so much.
Melanie, please. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody tuning in.
Yes, this certainly has been a blessing. That's your bestie right there. Says awesome interview. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you for being our very special guest here on Great Talk tonight. And thank you for all the powerful information that you have shared with everybody. God bless, and we certainly appreciate you. And this, my friends, have been another edition of Greg Talks. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to tag your friends and your neighbors and let them know what Greg Talks is doing. And we're bringing you some powerful and pertinent information that's going to be a blessing to you and your family. God bless you. We love you. Good night and peace out. Get out. Good night, everybody. Good night. Woo. There we go. We're getting out of here.